Hey everybody, it's Master Gallengeist here, bringing you my review of Iron Man 2020 issue 4. And this was a great issue. I had been waiting to kind of see what would be going on with this and how this was kind of going to go, because we got the information recently that a new creative team is going to be taking over around September, barring any unforeseen other things going on with like the pandemic and all that. And I was like, oh, I thought this was going to go a little bit longer, whatnot, but we're reaching kind of an end game goal with what's going on with Iron Man 2020, so I don't think it's going to be that much of a crazy kind of transition. So we started off, and we had seen that last time that Arno had supposedly killed Mark 1. And we get the fallout from that as he is unleashing his Iron Legion, his preview Iron Legion, on the rest of the robot resistance, while Andy, Machine Smith, and Herbie are trying to figure out what to do with Mark 1's body. But of course, Machine Smith's tablet thingy, where he's in at the moment, got hijacked by the ghost person that's been helping them out. I was like, hey, get out of there and make sure you bring the body with you. And it's like, okay, all right. So Andy kind of morphs into kind of a facsimile kind of thing of Arno's armor and kind of blasts his ass. And Arno's like, we'll get you for that. But they've already escaped at that point. It's like, what the hell is going on here? So we're seeing other things going on within this. We see that Mark 1 is dealing with something. He's like falling through something and like dealing with all these different things that we've seen Tony Stark go through. And we see that he falls out and that he is on the 13th floor, the reformatted escape, and that Friday's alive. It's like, yes! I was wondering what they were going to be doing with Friday's character, and evidently, even though she like went into the armor and everything and went into the escape, Maria Stark's engram was still based on a human mind, and it just scattered her code throughout the escape. So she's evolved from like an AI system in a suit of armor to a person who is in an android body to pretty much a whole world in the escape. And she's been helping coordinate and everything like that. And she forgives Tony for some of the stuff, even though Tony still harbors guilt and everything. He did more than what normally people would do. I'm like, yay! And Friday's trying to help him out. So while they're kind of reconnecting with that, we get some other things going on. Evidently, the Maria and Howard Starks have escaped, and then Arno's able to find them and takes them up. And we find out that as he's flying them, they're like, something's wrong. He's like, yeah, the thing is, I had to recreate your bodies. I didn't have all of your DNA, so I had to outfit it with some of mine, and that gave them his disease, and that's why they couldn't leave the place. And they die mid-flight. He says, don't worry, death is a setback. And you really start getting the feeling that Arno is a really unnerved individual. Granted, it's been a while to kind of get to this point, but he's like, oh yeah, death's a setback and everything. It's like, ha. You almost get the image of the dude kind of like laughing in the corner, like, ah, everything's fine, everything's fine, everything's okay. I'm like, yeah, okay, all right. We, of course, then also see Sunset Bane is dealing with all of these people, talking about how the robot revolution is pretty much now scattered into cells since Mark One's death, and they'd seen the preview of the Iron Legion and everything, and that it's pretty much humanity versus the robots at this point, and they of course have all these other different kind of domestic problems that they've got to deal with. And Sunset's like, oh, fine, I'll deal with all these questions. We also check in on Andy, and Machine Man popped up, and we're like, hey, can you help me fix Joe? Pretty much, as he's got Yocosta's head in a bowling bag, and he's like, yeah, I can see what I can do, because he had worked a little bit on the operating system thing that Arno was going to do to make all the robots compliant. He's like, yeah, I kind of built in a backdoor kind of thing, and he's able to kind of mess around and get Yocosta back to her normal self. She's like, at first it's like, yeah, I'll show you my free will with my eye beams if they hadn't been deactivated. And she's like, yeah, thanks, Andy, you're good. And she's like, I'm not gonna forgive the bowling ball bag, but thank you for getting me out of that. To Aaron, it's like, shit. So that was pretty cool. We then also see Tony is pretty much adamant. Well, Mark One is adamant that he's not Tony Stark, and that they should really just give up on that. And that Friday's like, no. He's like, I'm artificial. I saw that kind of stuff. He's like, yeah, Arno's pods aren't completely perfect. There's some artificial stuff, but Cabe and Pepper Potts are on the scene, going to your birth parents to get the DNA to make you again. And he's like, just give up. Tony's dead. dream kind of stuff. I'm just like an AI kind of thing. And she keeps hammering the point, you are Tony Stark. And I kind of like it. Now, granted, I understand that pretty much the pandemic and everything has thrown shit off storyline wise, but I do like the dynamic of, is this Tony Stark or is this an AI? And does that even kind of matter? So we see that really playing out here as he's trying to reconcile all these things. And we see that while he's doing that and everything, that we get a pretty big bombshell of that Arno's dealing with his stuff. Sunset's like, what are you doing? We need more stuff. Are you work? I know you're an introvert, but you gotta be out there doing your Iron Legion stuff. And he's like, well, I'm kind of working on some other stuff, and what I need to do is have it to the Stark Orbital Relay. It's a mixture of Mandarin's Hypno Rays and like controller tech. And she's like, why would you do that? Would that really work on the robots? It's like, no. I'm going to go with the other part of the equation. The humans. I'm pretty much just going to make them more compliant because robots are more predictable. I'm like, really? They're... How are they more predictable? I'm like, yeah, there could be certain kind of things and all that, but all of them are unpredictable. You're supposed to persuade them. I'm like, there's a big ending thing. This is what's going on. And Arno's going the route of kind of like supervillain kind of thing. I'm like, oh, I'm just going to pretty much try and get the most problematic elements under my control so that way I can deal with this. It's like, it's old school kind of Doom a little bit, because we see that he's like, yeah, you're an AI. It's like, what do you mean? It's like, you remember when you told me to fix your scar? I pretty much have had you working for me this whole time. I was like, holy shit. That's a big thing. That's not good. As he's building new bodies for his parents in a more kind of robot, durable form of like what they were in the Escape. It's like, okay, well, let's see how that goes. Then we fit back into what's going on with Tony and Friday in the Escape to end off the issue, as he's like, no, I'm not Tony Stark. And then the rest of his different kind of personalities come and bring up like all the stuff like when he was a kid, when he was a teenager, when he was like a young adult taking over Stark Industries, when he joined the Avengers and everything like that. He's like, I couldn't stand up to all these things. And the one point when he was dealing with his alcoholism, he's like, no, I'm just an idea. I am Iron Man. He's like, yeah. Friday brings up, I was an idea, I was an AI, but I was born out of Tony's ideas. That doesn't make me any less of a being or whatnot. And all these people popping up, they aren't me. They're you. They're different parts of your personality. And they all touch on him. And then we get Tony Stark back. He's like, yeah, let's do this stuff. I'm like, yay, Tony's back. So that was a good way to kind of end off the issue and set up for where we're going to kind of be going further on to kind of end this out, I assume. Because I know everything kind of shifted everything out, but I'm really interested to see how this is going to end up. What's going to come of Arno and how Tony is going to deal with that, because Arno's been doing some really fucked up things as an Iron Man. Okay? I mean, he's got some kick-ass armor, but he's brought his parents back from the dead. He is now putting them in robot bodies. He made an AI copy of Sunset Bane, and I think has her floating in a tube. It's like, that ain't good. He's going to try and mind control people to fight a, like, entity that could end the Earth. He's done some shit. So we'll have to see how Tony's able to handle that out, and where the rest of the kind of robot revolution will kind of go. Will they choose to follow Tony Stark still, or be like, hey, Mark 1 was my dude. It's like, yeah, they're the same dude, man. So we'll see how that kind of goes. So those are my opinions on the issue. Tell me what you guys think in the comments below. If you liked it, if you didn't like it, if you agree with me, if you disagree with me. Also, like and subscribe, and I hope you have a good day.